I'm going to cook something that I ate probably every day, or a version of at least, and that's a dosa. Dosa is a fermented rice pancake, and it's very crisp, and when made well, is very shiny, almost glossy, like a veneer. Looks like a piece of bark. And this dosa masala has got this beautiful potato mixture inside. So it really is delicious. It's that kind of crunch and then soft and fragrant filling that gets you addicted. So I've got some feeding to do. I've got some family and friends that are going to come over and taste a little bit of what we experienced in that crazy place. So should we crack into it? So I've diced and boiled some potatoes. Where this dish gets interesting is actually in the spices that we're going to use. And the thing that's been different for me is using these dal. This dal they use for texture and flavour, and I've never really used any of these dal other than for, stews and things like that. So it's a whole new ball game. I've also got some fresh turmeric, which I bought back from Delhi, from the spice market, and some mustard seeds. So we're going to get over to the frying pan. And first step, bit of oil. And then what we're going to do is put the mustard seeds in, get a little bit of heat, wait for them to start zipping around the pan. Throw the chana dal in. And you remember, you can buy these at a good little Asian grocer. Now, something that you've probably never seen before is asafoetida, which is really, really stinky stuff. It's very sulphurous, and it gives this sort of acidic background and I suppose sulphurous flavour that is really intriguing and interesting. And what we do is put about a quarter of a teaspoon. Ooh. You're going to taste that. But it's another one of those little background flavours that you get in Indian food that you go, what is that? I'm really getting to like it. So just take a few seconds for these little chickpeas to take on some colour, which they are now. Just starting to go a touch golden. And then we're going to throw in one onion slice. Now, all the onions that we saw when we were in India were all what we call Spanish onions, or a shallot, which were red, and they're very, very sweet. So if you can use Spanish onion instead, as a rule, when you're cooking Indian food, then go for it. And we're going to give those a stir. And what we want to do is soften those in the oil and allow those chana dal just to colour slightly, for the mustard seeds, the asafoetida just to merge. I'm going to put a pinch of salt in, and then some hot stuff. Now, these are little green chilies. There's some fire in these babies, let me tell you. Gorgeous. So if you use them, you only need a couple. So in with the green chili. And there's also these. These are curry leaves. You can buy these fresh now. They're widely available. You even find them in the supermarket. And it adds a very distinctive flavour to the dish. So I've got a nice colour on the onions. Really loving that, actually. It's delicious. Really good. Now, potatoes. Pop those in. Give them a little bit of a stir. So that looks gorgeous, but we've got an important job to do, and that's smash this turmeric. You can buy fresh turmeric now, at most good grocers and also the supermarket. It's got an incredible aroma and an incredible colour. So it's going to take a bit of work, so give me a minute. Hard yakka, isn't it? You can use a spice grinder. Well, it's taken a bit of work, but I reckon the whole kitchen smells of that beautiful turmeric. So we're going to put about a teaspoon of that turmeric into the potatoes, and good squeeze of lemon juice. Right, so we're nearly done. What we're going to do is pop some beautiful coriander in there. Again, fragrant. And this is the thing that stuck with me through the whole trip, is that these big kind of overly spicy curries are North Indian and down south. So fragrant, so beautiful. And touch of mustard oil. And again, this is like extra virgin olive oil for me. In the south, they cook almost exclusively with mustard oil, but I find that really strong for my taste, slightly bitter. So I use a little bit of vegetable oil and a little bit of mustard oil. Softens the whole thing down. So in with the coriander. Yum. final little bit of pinch of salt. And that's my potato bhaji, or the masala part of this dish. Now, a dosa is a fermented rice pancake, and it's very crisp, and when made well, is very shiny, almost glossy, like a veneer. Looks like a piece of bark, like a tube. Because what they do is they fry it, and then as it starts to crisp, they roll it. And this dosa masala has got this beautiful potato mixture inside. So it really is delicious. It's that kind of crunch and then soft and fragrant filling that gets you addicted. This took a bit of time to get right. I've got a couple of recipes from various chefs from where we stayed and people we bumped into, and they made it look really, really easy. But trust me, it actually isn't. So if you can follow this recipe, try and do it to the T. Some raw rice, 1 cup. Some cooked rice, 1 cup. This is an urad dal, which is a black lentil that's had the husk removed and then split. And it's really interesting because when you pop that bag open, first of all, you get the smell, which is, it's strange, slightly fermenty. And I think this is the reason that that is in the mixture. So 1 cup of urad dal, very particular smell. And then this one is the chana dal, which we've used and toasted in that masala, in that potato bhaji. So 1/4 cup of that. And then some fenugreek seeds. And this is, you know, typically, and you'd imagine it smells anisey. It's very fragrant. It's a little bit earthy as well. And we put in about a teaspoon of that. Now, what is important here is the fermentation process. And what I mean by that is this batter has to be bubbling. Now, to get that to happen, it needs to be left out. Now, you can wash this 2 or 3 times and then leave it covered in a warmish place for about 5 hours or more. So because this is a breakfast dish, you've got to think ahead a little bit because there's 2 sets of fermentation. The second phase is to drain some of that water away and then liquidize that mixture into a batter. This is what it looks like when it's been blended and fermented. So it's this kind of, see this sort of thick, it's almost like thick cream, soupy consistency. It's bubbly because it's aerated, and it doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. See, it's still got some of that granular consistency in, which is from the rice, which is the raw rice. Let's cook the dosa and see if it works. So what I've got is a very thin, quite cheap cast iron pan, but it's big. And what I've done is I've seasoned that like you do a wok with oil. So I've made sure that that's as non-stick as I can get it. The other trick I was told, and I have to do more research, is somebody said to me, have you used the half onion trick? And I go, what is the half onion trick? And I think it's a way of just actually lightly oiling the pan that you can use over and over and over again. But I've got a funny feeling that something in that onion leaves something on that pan that makes the dosa extra shiny. I'm sticking with that story. So a bit of oil. And then the batter. Now there is a technique to this, and I may get the first one wrong, much like you do when you make a pancake. We'll see. Batter into the center of the pan, starting in the middle, and then working your way around and pushing that batter out as you go. Now this is quite a gentle heat. It's enough for the batter to start sticking almost straight away, get that little sizzle. The other thing you need to do is just put a little drizzle of oil around the edge of the dosa and a little drizzle over the surface. And that keeps it nice and moist. It also helps with that beautiful golden, almost bark-like surface that we're chasing for this dosa. I can see that brown, that golden brown is now pushing through the surface, that top surface of the pancake. So I'm going to flip the heat off. It's looking good. Let's go. Let's build the first one of many dosa. They're going to be made in this house. So I've got a red paste made from chilies, from garlic, from dal. Plop a bit of that on. Spread it on. And our masala, this potato bhaji, we just put a little bit of that on. Can you see I'm smiling? I'm so excited. So, while it's warm, you can roll this dosa so that you get this thin, crisp pancake. Can you hear the crunch? This is the first of one of many dosas in this house. And I better get cooking. Family and friends are coming, and I'm sure they're gonna love this when they tuck in.